Now, this was the question what I have given you as an homework, right? A stone is dropped into a well and the sound of splash is heard after 5.3 seconds. If the water is at a depth of 122.5 meter from the ground, the velocity of the sound in air is. So how we are going to solve this question? Let us see, pay attention. So students, here, this 5.3 seconds, what is this 5.3 second? That is, let us try to understand what is this 5.3 seconds. See, when I take, this is a well, just imagine this is the well, this is the well, and here the water is there, यहाँ पे नीचे water है बेटा, यहाँ पे water है, ठीक है. Now if this is the water, so what I can say here, if this is the water, then the stone is dropped. Stone जब हम drop करते हैं यहाँ पे, when we are dropping the stone has to go down. Then as soon as it touches the water, as soon as it touches the water, then what happens, you know, द स्प्लैश ऑफ साउंड इज हर्ड. यहाँ पे हमारे को क्या मिलने वाला है? स्प्लैश ऑफ साउंड, मतलब एक साउंड हमारे को सुनाई देगा. अब ये जो साउंड रहेगा, तो कितना टाइम लग रहा है बेटे, यहाँ पे कितना टाइम लग रहा है? देखिए, पहले तो मैं ये बताऊंगा आपको कि व्हेन इट इज गोइंग डाउन, ये नीचे गया, ये नीचे जाने के बाद जब इसको टच होगा, sound wave will be coming up. ये ऊपर आया sound wave. So this 5.3 what is mentioned here, 5.3 जो mention हुआ जो है बेटा, वो 5.3 क्या है? The time taken by the stone to reach the level of the water as well as the sound wave to come up. मतलब ये जो टाइम है 5.3, it includes two times, दो टाइम्स है उसके अंदर. कौन से टाइम? The time taken by the stone to reach the surface of water and this sound wave which is coming up. साउंड वेव जब ऊपर आएगा तब हमारे को सुनाई देगा, राइट? तो स्प्लैश ऑफ साउंड इज हर्ड आफ्टर 5.3 सेकंड मींस ये दोनों टाइम है बेटा यहाँ पे. तो इन शॉर्ट व्हाट आई कैन से हियर इज दिस इज t1 plus t2 is equals to how much? 5.3 seconds. This is given, 5.3 seconds is given. Now let us go for how much is the time taken by this body to reach the ground, to reach the water surface, कितना टाइम लगा हम देखते हैं बेटा. तो फॉर दैट व्हाट आई डू, आई टेक दिस इक्वेशन, दैट इज s is equals to ut plus half at square. You know this, ut plus half at square. How much is the depth here? The depth is 122.5 meters, that is given. I'll take 122.5, that is equals to, this part is 0. The reason, the body or the stone is dropped. यहाँ पे स्टोन ड्रॉप हुआ है स्टूडेंट, दैट्स व्हाई व्हाट आई एम डूइंग इज दिस इनिशियल वेलोसिटी इज 0, दैट इज इक्वल्स टू हाफ. ए वैल्यू कितना होगा बेटा? 9.8 एंड दैट इज टी स्क्वायर. सो टू 1 टाइम्स 2 4.9 times, so it is how much? It is 122.5, that is equals to 4.9 t square. So I take 4.9 t square, I'm writing this here, that is equals to 122.5 this side. So t square, so this t square is how much? 122.5 divided by 4.9. So if you cancel it, exactly it is cancelling by 25. You can see that is t square is 25. T is how much, students? Under root of 25. That gives us how much? 5 seconds. So this 5 seconds is the time taken by the stone to come down and reach the water surface. So what I do from the beginning itself, I will take this is as T1, T1, T1. This is also T1. So what we have calculated, T1. Now from this equation, that is T1 plus T2, that is the total time taken by the stone to reach the water surface, and the water wave, the sound wave has to come up, that is T1 plus T2, that is 5.3. So what is this T1? T1 already we have got it as 5. That is equal T1 plus T2 is equals to 5.3. So what is T2? T2 is equals to 5.3 minus 5. T2 is equals to 0.3 seconds. Means the sound wave is taking how much time to come up? The stone is taking the time to go down is 5 seconds. The sound wave is taking how much time to come up? 0.3 seconds. The question here is, what is the velocity of sound? So velocity is equal to displacement by time. So displacement, how much the sound is created here, right? So the sound has to travel this much distance. This is the total depth of the well it has to travel, and this is 122.5. So velocity of sound we are calculating. So velocity of sound is equals to displacement by time, and this displacement is how much? 122.5, and divided by time is how much? 0.3. So when you divide this, you will be getting, this is like, I can cancel 1225 by 3. If you cancel it, it will be 122.5. So it is how much? 3 1 times, 3 4 times, 0. So it is how much, students? This is 24 means 8 point some 3 meters per second. Copy kar lijiye. Next question is this one. A body is thrown up with a velocity 29.23 meters per second. The distance traveled in the last second of upward motion. What is the distance traveled in the last second of upward motion? That we need to calculate here. तो देखिए बेटा, यहाँ पे हम थोड़ा सा लॉजिक लगाएंगे. So the question here, stone is thrown up with how much velocity? Initial velocity 29.23 meters per second. This is the initial velocity. It's going up, and again it has to come down, right? This is the situation what we have already seen under the concept of time of ascent and time of descent and time of flight. Now beta, तो ये तो क्वेश्चन है यहाँ पे. The body is projected upward with the velocity 29.23 meters per second. Distance traveled in the last second of upward motion. So suppose this, we don't know what is the upward time for the upward motion. Kitna time of ascent hai, we don't know. We can calculate, but I don't want to make the question complicated. The question can be solved it as the distance. What the question is saying, the distance traveled in the last second of upward motion. So मैं आपको already मैं बता चुका था बेटा, यहाँ पे जितनी velocity होगी यहाँ पे भी उतनी velocity होगी. Here how much the velocity is, here also the same velocity. That means velocity is same, means time is also same, means distances are same. Try to understand, if suppose this is the distance covered in the last second of upward motion, then that will be exactly equal to the distance covered by the same body in the first second of downward motion. ये क्या होगा बेटा, last second of upward motion का distance जो भी रहेगा, that will be equal to the distance traveled by the same body in the first second of downward motion. Upward motion और downward motion में दोनों distances बराबर होते हैं, लेकिन upward motion का last second रहेगा बेटा, downward motion का first second रहेगा. I hope the concept is clear. तो यहाँ पे जितना distance रहेगा, how much is the distance here? X. So here also the distance is X. So we can use the concept S is equals to UT plus half AT square. Now students, I am not checking this condition, I am checking this condition. So what is the initial velocity here? Try to understand my question. Here the S is equals to UT plus half AT square I have considered. My question is whether I have to take U as 29.23 meters per second or I have to take the U as 0. क्योंकि मैं जो है ना बेटा, I am not considering this. I know the distance traveled by the body in the last second of upward motion is equals to the distance traveled by the same body in the first second of the downward motion. तो यहाँ पे मैं क्या लूं? What I have to take? You just reply in the group. Yes, very good. So here I have to consider the initial velocity as 0. This is the important thing. So this part will become 0. Answer is over half. What is the value for A? It is GT square. So it is half. G is how much, students? 9.8. See, don't get confused whether to take 9.8 or whether to take 10. 9.8 is approximately 10 beta. Again, depending on the situation, हम consider करते हैं the value of G by into T square means how much is the first second, right? So first second means it is 1. So 1 times it is 4.9. So it is how much? 4.9 meters. 4.9 meters is the answer. So a body is thrown up. देखिए बेटे यहाँ पे. This body is thrown up with the velocity what they have mentioned, U is equals to how much? 40 meters per second. At the same time, another body is dropped another body is dropped. Dropped means initial velocity is 0. So we have to take care about the relative accelerations. देखिए बेटा, try to understand what is the acceleration with which this body is going up. तो अगर मैं आपसे ये पूछा what is the acceleration, तो आप बताएंगे a1, that is the first acceleration, or the acceleration of the first body is g. Plus g minus g, I'm not asking. Plus g and minus g just for the consideration of upward and downward motion. But the magnitude is how much? What is the magnitude here? That is g. So when this is coming down, what is the acceleration of this body? a2, that is equals to also g. That is also g. ये भी g रहेगा बेटा. तो यहाँ पे the question is very very like important. यहाँ पे हमें बताता हूँ आपको important word है relative acceleration. Relative acceleration means acceleration of the first body with respect to the second body. तो यहाँ पे देखिए बेटा, acceleration of the first body with respect to the second body इस तरह से लिखेंगे आप, और यहाँ पे आप बनाएंगे that is equals to a1 minus a2. a1 minus a2. तो this is what a12, that is acceleration of the first body with respect to the second body, is equals to a1 minus a2. What is a1 here? It is g. What is a2? That is also g. ये दोनों cancel करेंगे बेटा, आंसर 0 है. Now बेटा, just see, a body is there, it is projected upward. ये ऊपर गया. So suppose here till here is the maximum height. यहाँ तक आया है इसका maximum height, and you know at the maximum height the velocity is 0. The body is projected with initial velocity u. इस point पे u है. And if you are going till here, the final velocity will become 0 at the maximum height. ये है हमारे लिए maximum height h. But he is not asking what is the velocity at the maximum height. What he is asking is what is the velocity at half of the maximum height. Half पे how much is the velocity? Suppose the velocity is v1. I don't know, the velocity is v1. And this distance is how much? Vertical distance. अगर आप ये check करते हैं बेटा, तो ये total is h. ये पूरा h है. So therefore this will be what? h by 2. If this is h, this will be h by 2. अब सिंपल सा लॉजिक है. मैं आपसे पूछूंगा कि भाई we are having initial velocity, we are asked to calculate the final velocity, we are having the vertical displacement h by 2, and of course we have to take g as a as minus g because the body is projected upward. तो हमारे पास acceleration है बेटा, acceleration है, initial velocity है, final velocity है, height है, that is the displacement है हमारे पास. तो which is the equation what we are going to use? The first one, second one, third one, या fourth one, because I have given you 4 equations in this. First is v is equals to u plus at, s is equals to ut plus half at squared. Third one is what? V square minus u square is equals to 2as. Fourth one is sn is equals to u plus n minus half into a. तो इसमें से जस्ट मेरे को नंबर भेजाइए आप. जस्ट आई वांट टू चेक हाउ मच यू आर अंडरस्टैंडिंग. Yes, good. Third one, right. Third equation करेक्ट है बेटा, 100% करेक्ट है. अब हम जाते हैं थर्ड इक्वेशन पे. v square minus u square is equals to 2as. What is v square? We need to calculate v1 square minus u square is u square only. This is 2. A is what? Minus g, and this s is nothing but h. We are taking h. Now I am taking this that side. So what it becomes? v1 square is equals to u square. Better try to understand. Minus I am taking that side. So what it becomes? Plus. So this is what? U square minus 2g h. Now let us simplify this. v1 square is equals to u square minus 2g. What is this h? h क्या है बेटा? What is h? h is the maximum height. Maximum height. h is the maximum height यहाँ पे. लेकिन क्वेश्चन क्या पूछा गया, अब मैं मॉडिफाई कर रहा हूँ, अच्छे से देखना है. h is the maximum height, तो ये h है बेटा. लेकिन हमारे लिए डिस्प्लेसमेंट कितना है? डिस्प्लेसमेंट h by 2 है. तो s जो रहेगा ना बेटा, अब मैं मॉडिफाई कर रहा हूं, अच्छे से देखना. दिस इज h by 2, दिस इज ऑल्सो h by 2. अब यहाँ पे दिस 2 एंड दिस 2 वी कैन कैंसिल, ये दोनों कैंसिल कर देंगे, और यहाँ पे बच गया हमारे लिए जस्ट व्हाट? g. एंड व्हाट इज लेफ्ट आउट? h ऑल्सो इज लेफ्ट आउट. h भी बचा हुआ है. चलिए अब उसको हम थोड़ा सा सिंप्लीफाई करेंगे. v1 square is equals to, this is u square minus g. What is h now? Maximum height. देखिए half of the maximum height का effect I have cancelled. 2 2 cancel हो गया यहाँ पे. अब h क्या है? Maximum height है. Formula for maximum height क्या दिया था बेटा मैं? u square by 2g, हम इसको derive करे थे. We have already derived the maximum height formula is u square by 2g. So this g and this g get cancelled. So v1 square is equals to, this is u square minus u square by 2. Now just take the LCM. 2 u square into 2, how much it is? 2u square minus u square, so it will become just u square. So v1 square is equals to u square by 2, और हम बनाएंगे बेटा लास्ट में v1 is equals to under root of u square by 2. U square and root get cancelled. This will be u and this is by root 2. Copy it. Now students, the next question. A body is projected vertically up with velocity 98 meters per second. After 2 seconds, if the acceleration due to gravity of the earth disappears, the velocity of the body at the end of 3 seconds. I request all the students to read the question once. And meanwhile, I'll suggest all the students to join with the admission number what I have provided. It is observed that 1 or 2 students, they are joining by name beta. By name, if you are entering, then you will not be allowed. So you have to be very careful that you have to enter by your admission number. It's okay. Today you have joined, don't disconnect and again rejoin. It's okay for today. From tomorrow onwards, you be careful. You have to join by your admission number. ठीक है? चलिए क्वेश्चन पढ़ता हूं बेटा मैं फिर से. देखिए क्वेश्चन यहाँ पे देखिए बेटा, एक बॉडी है जो उसको हम प्रोजेक्ट करें. कितनी वेलोसिटी से हम प्रोजेक्ट करें बेटा? वेलोसिटी ऑफ द प्रोजेक्शन इज हाउ मच? u is equals to 98 meters per second, and after 2 seconds the acceleration due to gravity disappears. एक 2 seconds के बाद acceleration due to gravity disappear हो गया बेटा. तो उसकी velocity कितनी होगी? How much will be the velocity that we need to calculate? कितनी velocity होगी हमारे को वो देखना है बेटे. आइए, you know the velocity is equals to formula u plus at. I'm using the general equation. V is equals to what? U plus at. So what is this? V is equals to U plus at. The body is projected upward. अच्छे से देखिए, the body is projected upward. So what happens? A you have to take it as minus g. A you need to take it as minus g. अब आप क्या करेंगे यहाँ पे? Minus g consider करेंगे, ठीक है? Now A is what? Minus g. Substitute करिए. This is how much students? 98 minus A is what? Minus g. And time is how much? कितना टाइम के बाद हमारे को डिसअपियर हो रहा है बेटा यहाँ पे? After 2 seconds, the acceleration due to gravity disappears. That means here I have to take it as 2. So this is how much? 98 minus this I'll take for calculation purpose. This is 2. So this is 98 minus 20. So it is how much? 78. 78 meters per second. Means after 2 seconds, ये 2 सेकेंड के बाद 2 seconds के बाद बेटा क्या हो रहा है? यहाँ पे ग्रेविटी वैनिश हो गई. वैनिश मतलब डिसअपियर. देयर इज नो डिसेलरेशन ऑन द बॉडी. देयर इज नो फोर्स एक्टिंग ऑन द बॉडी टू पुल इट डाउन. सो आफ्टर 3 से यहाँ पे देखिए 2 seconds के बाद कितनी वेलोसिटी है हमारे को? हाउ मच इज द वेलोसिटी हियर? 78 meters per second. नाउ आफ्टर 3 seconds मींस 1 सेकंड के बाद कितनी होंगी? हाउ मच? 78 ओनली. 4 seconds के बाद 4 seconds के बाद कितना? 78 only. Why? What is the reason here 78? Because acceleration due to gravity खत्म होगी बेटा यहाँ पे. Acceleration due to gravity जब खत्म होती है, then the body is going to move with the constant velocity. It is not having any force to pull it down. कोई फोर्स नीचे नहीं रहेगा उसकी और वेलोसिटी कम करने के लिए. So whenever the acceleration due to gravity disappears, we can say that it is going to move with a constant velocity. तो ये constant velocity 2 seconds के बाद 78 है, तो not 3 seconds, not only for 4 seconds, 100 seconds के बाद भी उसकी velocity वही रहेंगी बेटा 78, because it is not affected by some external gravity. I hope it is clear. Copy कर लीजिए.